it. This is for the awards. Let's hear it again. I love a cheer at the beginning of an event. My name is Georgianne Bender, and I am going to be your MC for tonight's festivities. We have some fabulous awards to give out to some fabulous people in the industry. I am a fellow membership of AFCI for 38 years, CHA, HIA, and former board member and member of the awards committee and your host for the evening. We come together tonight to recognize excellence in industry service and philanthropy. However, before we get started, we'd like to encourage everyone to stick around right after the ceremony, because right after the ceremony, we're going to announce the winners of the Creativation gift baskets, and they're pretty cool. If you haven't dropped your ticket in, the basket, where's the bowl? Where? Where is the bowl? It's on the corner of the table up here if you haven't dropped your ticket in. We've got a lot of exhibitors contribute to the gift baskets. So, choosing the honorees of all the awards you'll see tonight is not an easy task. It takes combing through nominations and qualifications to find the perfect fit every single year. I'd like to recognize the committee who selected this year's honorees. Brad Beck, Brad Beck from Design Master Color Tool. He was the chair of the awards committee and the AFCI secretary. Roseanne Kermes. You hear Roseanne? Roseanne Kermes from Rosebud's Cottage. She's an AFCI board of directors member. Shirley Ferguson. Shirley, I know you're here. From Ben Franklin Crafts and Frames in Redmond, Washington. And me, Georgianne Bender from Kaiser and Bender speaking. Oh, you're gonna love it. Now we have a lot of great people to recognize and companies to recognize, so let's get started. We are going to kick off with the Creative Retailer Awards. Now these awards, I know, these awards were established to recognize the best in brick and mortar and online retail, based on an overall business and performance, technology integration, customer experience, and community involvement. I would also like to point out that for the 2021 awards, you can have somebody nominate you or nominate your own store. So keep that in mind. Our first brick and mortar retailer award recipient is Memory Bound. Memory Bound opens its doors on October 1st, 2001, and has been led for the past 18 years by Kelly Gould and Dawn Johnson. Their passion and commitment for what they do, their employees and their customers, is what makes them successful. Their one-stop shop offers amazing classes, inventory, and creative employees. They are so supportive of all their competitors and the collective creative industries as a whole. Their approachable store and employees also carry over to their online presence with innovative social media videos and posts, as well as a comprehensive online store. As the town of Ankeny continues to grow, Memory Bound continues to be one of the best stores to visit. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Kelly Gould and Dawn Johnson of Memory Bound to the stage.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Kelly, and this is Dawn, although there's often confusion and we answer to either name, so whichever. And we feel very honored and surprised. You know, you're hearing a lot about the Academy Award nominations, and we feel like we got Best Picture for Paper Craft Store for the year. So we thank you. We want to thank the nominating committee and AFCI for believing in us and presenting this award to us. We're extremely honored, like I said. We also, of course, since we are kind of Academy Award, feeling the Academy Awards tonight, we're accepting this for our families that have been supportive and our staff, which we have one of them right here in our audience, Leanne, and all of our other staff members that couldn't be here in Phoenix today but are back in Iowa running the store, and it's, I think, 2 degrees below zero right now, so we're glad to be here. And then we also appreciate all of our customers, of course, and we want to give a shout out to all of the other independent paper craft stores, retailers. So I think you should give them all a round of applause. And we also appreciate all of our vendors that have been supportive throughout our 19 years. So I think you should give all of our vendors that support the independents a round of applause, because we really appreciate that a lot. And I think, is the music going to start playing now? There is this hook, so we'll keep it brief. And again, we just want to thank everybody. We are extremely honored and we kind of speechless, really. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, AFCI. We really appreciate it.
Congratulations to Memory Bound. You gotta get a picture. Okay. Yeah, they brought their own paparazzi. I like that. Our second 2020 Best Creative Brick and Mortar Retailer Award recipient is Craft Warehouse in Beaverton, Oregon. When visiting Craft Warehouse Beaverton, it's apparent that the owners spend a great deal of time, consideration, effort, and resources on projects, displays, and creative classes for their customers. Craft Warehouse Beaverton's wonderfully talented creative team of employees has established an inspiring environment where the community feels not only welcome, but motivated to connect and create. The employees of the store are consistent in their genuine customer service and energize visitors with noteworthy art and crafting knowledge and suggestions. It's a unique store reminding all that getting crafty is possible for anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Christina Healy.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. It's been a very exciting time, my first show. And 5 years ago, I got hired with our company, and I'm very proud to have my employees win this award. If you all could meet them, they're incredibly talented, and I'm so excited to bring this back to my team and celebrate. Thank you.
Congratulations, Beaverton Craft Warehouse. Next up, we have our Best Creative Online Retailer Award, which is awarded to online-only retailers without a physical location. Now, this award was judged on overall business performance, site usability, customer experience, community involvement, and unique characteristics that set the store apart from other online-only retailers. This year's recipient is Simon Says Stamp. Heidi Crowell with some fans. Simon Says Stamp. All right, get it out! Simon Says Stamp offers the best online selection of rubber stamp, altered arts, scrapbooking, card making, and paper crafting products in the world. Their warehouse is located in Columbus, Ohio, where they stock close to 35,000 SKUs and have approximately 40 full-time employees. Simon Says Stamp has been recognized as one of Central Ohio's 50 fastest-growing privately held companies for 7 consecutive years. And in 2019 was recognized as one of Central Ohio's best places to work. Are you ready? Please join me in welcoming and congratulating the owner of Simon Says Stamp, Heidi Crowell.
Awesome, thank you. 18 years ago, Simon Says Stamp was founded out of a passion, which I think everybody in this room shares, for crafting and making things. And today, we have, just from our Simon Says Stamp team, over 100 years of experience in our crafting world. So thank you to AFCI and to you for presenting this award. It's so exciting to be here. Thank you to the designers and the vendors and the brands. This is the best industry. So thank you guys for all of it.
Gotta get those selfie moments in. Now we're going to move on to our industry awards, where we recognize individuals or companies who have made an impact on the creative industry. To present the first of the evening's industry awards, please welcome to the stage Tammy Browning-Smith of Tammy Browning-Smith PC. Now, I just got to throw this in. Yes, I'm doing it. On March 23rd, Tammy is going to be sworn in to practice in front of the Supreme Court, and she will be sworn in by RGB and the rest of the Supreme Court. How cool is that? And tomorrow is her birthday. Come on up here, I've embarrassed you enough. Yeah, give an award away. But that Supreme Court thing, really cool.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Dignity, hope, compassion, health, and love. It's hard to believe that one bar of soap can bring all of these life-affirming emotions to restore a person both physically and mentally. Stacy Weiner recognized this and organized SAC, Support a Community with Kindness. Stacy and the SAC team have knitted, crocheted, and sewn over 55,000 sacks, and those are the only ones that have been reported. Each with a bar of soap for the homeless shelters, food pantries, veterans clinics, relief efforts, and so much more. Stacy showcases the best of how crafting makes a difference in our world. The Special Recognition Award is presented to a person, group, or company for their extraordinary contribution in an activity that showcases the craft and hobby industry in a positive way. Stacy Weiner is the best of all of us. And I ask you to please join me in welcoming Stacy to the stage to receive the 2020 AFCI Special Recognition Award.
First of all, I'd like to personally thank Tammy from the bottom of my heart for recommending me for this honor. You have been so supportive of me and SAC. I want you to know how grateful I am. I'd also like to thank AFCI and the judging committee for choosing me for this special recognition award. It is truly an honor. So a little bit about me. I've been a long-time knitter and crocheter, starting out, like many, making scarves, hats, and sweaters for family and friends. However, about 15 years ago, like most, having provided family and friends with all the knitted and crocheted items that they could use, I began turning my interests into what I love best, philanthropy and volunteering. I started making scarves and blankets for Project Linus with a group of like-minded people who shared my ideals. To make sense of this story, you need to know something about me. I'm a Jersey girl, and not just a typical Jersey girl, but a Jersey beach girl. During the summer months, I spend a good deal of my free time, weather permitting, on the beach. As you can imagine, crocheting blankets on the beach is not ideal. You see, you get a little hot and sweaty when you're sitting by the shore crocheting blankets in the sun. So after donating hundreds of blankets, I knew I needed to come up with another idea on what I could crochet while sitting on the beach, items that would be needed in my community. That is where being a volunteer at a food pantry comes into play, and the idea was presented to me without having to look so far. You see, from talking with our clients at the pantry, I found out that you can't buy non-food items with food stamps. The clients would come in asking for soap and other toiletries. Unfortunately, we rarely had toiletries on the shelves. Thus, my new volunteer project was born. I would crochet and knit small 4x6-inch sacks from cotton blend yarn, fill them with full bars of soap, and distribute them to food pantries, shelters, veteran clinics, transitional housing centers, and social service agencies. So my own personal little crochet began by making these sacks, adding soap, and donating them around my county. Surprisingly, when at the beach, waiting in a doctor's office, or knitting and crochet groups, people would often ask me, "What are you doing?" And more often than not, when I told them, they would ask if they could do it as well. So over at the course of a year, I had a small group of people helping by contributing to my cause. It was then that the tipping point occurred. My local newspaper had heard about me and what I was up to. A reporter called to ask if he could do a story about me and my little cause. Of course I said yes. What I didn't realize is that the local paper, being part of Gannett, was going to put the article online in the USA Today section and that it was going to have national circulation. Amazingly, people from all over the United States began contacting me, asking how they can get involved. This was the moment that it occurred to me. Maybe this is something that could be bigger. In short, I decided that I wanted to create a virtual community of crafters that could do good within their communities. And so SAC, Supporting a Community with Kindness, was born in 2017 with a virtual community of volunteer crafters who would knit and crochet sacks and donate them with soap within their own communities. But there were two things I wasn't quite ready for. One, that within a very short period of time of trademarking the logo, forming a 501c3, and having internet presence, that SAC would have almost 6,000 Facebook followers, communicating with each other on a daily basis and inspiring each other regarding the good things that they were doing. It blew me away how these people from all 50 states in the country became friends, warm wishers, and supporters of each other and our cause. Two, that this wasn't just about providing people in need with a small offering of dignity and love by a SAC volunteer, but it was about the volunteers themselves. So many of our volunteers are knitters and crocheters who, like me, were looking for something to do with the craft that they love. There is an entire community of crafters out there looking to do good things for people and not knowing how to tie the two together. This was eye-opening, not only because of the good it provided to the community, but the good it provided to all those crafters looking for motivation and a way to give back. There is a third thing that I'd also like to mention, one that became very evident this past fall when my husband and I went to pick up over 2,000 sacks being donated by a husband and wife soap sack team. You see, the wife had been bedridden with depression with no motivation to get out of bed. What they shared with us was that making soap sacks had become a passion of theirs, motivating her in a way that they had not planned. She now spends the better part of her day up and out of bed crocheting soap sacks. They even have their grandchildren helping out. I never thought that combining my love of crocheting and knitting with volunteering would have such an impact on people, but it is. Which is why I believe I am here today. I am so very grateful that you're honoring me and all of the SAC volunteers around the country with this AFCI Special Recognition Award. To date, we estimate that in just over 2 years, we have distributed over 55,000 soap sacks around the world. And yes, we partner with organizations both in and out of the United States. So it is with gratitude that I thank you and accept this award for SAC, myself, and all of its volunteers. Crafting has changed not only their lives, but the lives of those that our soap sacks find their way to. Thank you so much for this honor.
Kind of makes you feel like an underachiever, doesn't it? Makes me feel like an underachiever. To present this year's Industry Achievement Award, please welcome to the stage from the Creative Network, Gail Zeck. I'd whistle if I knew how.
I'll wait.
We'll be here a long time.
I'll wait. Thank you. I'm here to present an award to a longtime friend.
Hold it to your mouth.
And, oh, sorry, I have to hold this in my mouth. To a longtime friend and some of the most inspirational person I know. Chris Williams is the current marketing director of education for Plaid Enterprises. Shortly after birth, she was exposed to crafting and thrifting and recycling and designing at a very early age. As she grew in her career, she went and trained under Priscilla Hauser, and then became Priscilla Hauser Seminar Director. And after that, she was offered a job at Plaid Enterprises. So she worked at Plaid for many years, and then she decided to go out on her own and open her own retail store. And it was a historical home. It was called the Strickland House, 112 years old. The house that is, not Chris. And after closing her retail business, Chris received a call from Plaid again, and they asked her to come back home. And Chris is responsible for all the Folk Art One Stroke certified instructors teaching in all the retail chains, classrooms, alleyways, and bars. Chris is recognized as a true leader, an educator, a supporter of the craft industry. She's created numerous programs to promote not only Plaid, but the love of creativity. Chris is a mentor, a friend, and an inspiration to all of us. I want you to please welcome Chris. This industry is so fortunate to have such a dedicated and inspirational cheerleader.
First, I'm hoping you're still here. First, I want to thank Gail Zek. Yes. Gail and I have known each other since I think I was in my 20s. She and I
I was in my teens.
Last week.
I think it was, when I was working in my 20s, I was in the middle of the cornfields of Danville, Illinois. Gail was working for a craft distributor. I was working that craft distributor open house, and I think that's where we first met. And I've known Gail for years. We've kept in touch. We've even served on boards of trustees together. And I can't tell you how grateful I am for this honor and for this nomination, Gail. Okay. If I had to choose one word that kind of summed up my entire life, I would choose the word blessed. And you may wonder, has my life always been easy? Has it been simple? It may not have been all the time, but I can tell you that I still smile and acknowledge the fact that I have been blessed my entire life. My blessings first began by being raised by a loving family, fabulous parents, and 2 loving brothers. And I can tell you for a fact that they have supported my creativity through all the years. My mother, the first craft person I've ever known, taught me that there was nothing I could not do. She shared with me all sorts of crafts growing up, and I learned that I can do just about anything as long as I set my mind to it. So thanks, Mom. My first blessing after having been raised in that family was the fact that we were raised as a creative family. And I can tell you that we were so excited once my mom put a paintbrush in my hand. A fire was ignited and we began painting. As a creative family, we collected books from painting teachers. We collected all of the Priscilla Hauser books, and we studied and we studied and we studied. Another blessing that came in my life was we found out that Priscilla was nearby us. I was raised at that point in time in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Priscilla was visiting Camden, New Jersey at Sabar's Distributor Open House. My father gathered us all up in the car and we rushed over to see Priscilla, and that's where we met our painting idol. I owe Priscilla so much more because shortly after meeting Priscilla, my younger brother Philip Meyer and I decided to take a Priscilla Hauser accredited workshop and seminar. We drove down from Philadelphia to the beach down in Florida and we attended Priscilla's accreditation. Spent an entire week learning from her. At the end of that week, as teenagers, my brother Phil and I became Priscilla Hauser accredited teachers. And that was truly a blessing in our lives. We took all of our information back to Pennsylvania and we taught workshops and taught so many people how to paint. And it was truly, truly a blessing, Priscilla. Another blessing that happened in my life shortly after that was after finishing college, I got a call out of the blue, and it was Priscilla Hauser. Priscilla offered me another blessing in the form of a job opportunity. And I was moved from Philadelphia all the way out to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I became Priscilla's right-hand man. I got to be a seminar director and an editor for Priscilla's publications and Priscilla's Little Red Toll House. After 10 glorious years of working with my painting idol, I then had another blessing in my life. That blessing was meeting David A. Cunningham, who was the founder of Plaid Enterprises. David being a kind and gentle giant, and I hit it off immediately. And shortly after that, another blessing came to my life, and that was the fact that David A. offered me a career at Plaid. I then moved from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and moved on to Atlanta, Georgia, and worked with Plaid with that growing company. It was truly a blessing in my life. Many happy years passed, and I then received another blessing in my life. And it was an opportunity to have my own career, have my own shop, and create a life for myself outside of a corporation. I then owned my own retail and gift store, antique store, and during those years, I learned more about dealing with the public. I learned how to manage my own business, how to set up colorful displays with color and texture, and I learned how to look for the items that our customers wanted. But most of all, I still kept painting, and I learned how to design and paint and sell my own artwork in my own store. Some years after that, another blessing came in the way of another cold call, another phone call, and that phone call came from Bill Skinner and Debbie Henley of Plaid Enterprises. And basically it was another opportunity to come home, to come back to Plaid. And so that was truly another blessing in my life. I have worked for Plaid now, come this next month, in February, a total of 20 years. And I can tell you that working at Plaid, I have worked under John Bogle and Carl Reichenbach. I'm so proud to say that my coworkers are the best coworkers in the craft and hobby industry. And we all work under the direction of Mike McCooey. I'm so pleased to say that I also enjoy working with lots of other fellow artists, including Donna Dewberry and her one-stroke certified instructors, who I've become friends with all of them, all across the United States. And outside of the country too, I should say. And now, full circle, Priscilla Hauser is back working with us again. And so it's just amazing that my life has been full of so many blessings in our industry. And I can tell you that my life has been blessed. I'm truly grateful for each and all of the blessings that have come my way. But the best blessing of all is that I can pay it forward with the new generation. My daughter, Whitney, was raised to be a creative individual, and she is fantastically creative. In the future, I promise to continue to promote our industry, to always share with others the knowledge that I have gained, to look forward for creative opportunities, and to always, always be grateful. I want you all to know that our lives are all filled with blessings, and it's our job to find those blessings. I thank you one and all. Thank you.
Interrupt the program here, but I think you heard the name Priscilla Hauser several times here, and I want you to know there is an icon in our midst, Priscilla Hauser. Would you stand up and be recognized? Thank you for being who you are.
Thank you, Gail. Saturday to get a rock star in your midst. All right, so before we continue with the festivities here, I want to do a short video for Instagram for AFCI. So I'm going to start this video, and I want y'all to start screaming. Ready? Go! Put that up there, and then the people who missed it, might want to come next year. To present our second Industry Achievement Award, please welcome to the stage from Fabric Editions, Dean Bryant. That's okay.
Hello, this is truly an honor to present this award, the Industry Achievement Award, to Marsha Walling. Many of you know Marsha, and Gail said it the best. We all know Marsha is Marsha. And Marsha, over 40 years of dedicated service to this industry, working for Waccamaw Pottery, a buyer at Michael's, a buyer at Joann's. She's a true legend. Along with all the recipients here today, it's just it is legendary to be here with be in the presence of all these people. So Marsha, with all of her other accomplishments at Fabric Editions, really transformed the fabric industry, I like to think of. Really changed the basic way people buy fabric by pre-cutting it, putting it into different hands, and utilizing fabric in different ways for crafting, quilting, scrapbooking, every way to do something with fabric. So she always leads by example. She gets in the ditch. She always operates with the highest level of integrity. And she truly, it's my honor to present this award to Marsha Walling.
Hi, everybody. So first of all, I want to thank Dean and Fabric Editions for nominating me for this wonderful award. And secondly, I would like to thank the AFCI industry for having this platform for all of us in the industry to come together and to associate together and to find ways to work with people, to increase our businesses, and just to enhance the industry in total. I also want to thank you for nominating me for this award. So my career actually began in 1975. For all of you who are older and who went to school in the 60s and the 70s, we were required to take home ec. You may remember that. And in home ec, we were required to learn how to sew and to learn how to cook. So at an early age of 13 or 14, I found myself in home ec because it was a required course. Well, I preferred to be out riding horses or playing with my dogs instead of sewing or making garments. So we were told to select and to make our first garment. So I said, okay, I can do this. So I go to the local fabric store and I buy a napped velveteen fabric. I bought a pattern, which was a pair of pants with a yoked front and a zipper in the back. So this was my first project for sewing. Well, of course, I wasn't very thrilled with the way that turned out. But later on, after I got out of school, I had a friend, and she said, I have a part-time job. I'm running a fabric store. I was looking for a job at that time, and I said, okay, great, I'll take it. So that really started my career in this industry in 1975. I've had the honor to work in many different facets of the industry. I was in retail for the first 10 years of my career, and then I went to work for a company called Sewing Sales and Services. I don't know how many of you remember them, but they were in business, and I went to work for a man named Mike Walker, who is a legend in the industry. And I also had the opportunity to meet another gentleman there, Milt McGuirk, who is in the back today. and Bob Burgess, who many of you know. And Bob Burgess actually recommended me for my first corporate buying job, which was working for Waccamaw Pottery. So through the years of corporate buying, it was nothing to pull all-nighters. For those of you who have worked for corporate retailers, you would work all night in a store to make sure that you can get that store open the next day. And then later on, I went to work and I was able to work with Michael's stores as one of their corporate buyers. Later on, Joann's stores. And then throughout all of those, the main thing that I learned is all of the great people that are in this industry. There are so many great people that I have met and I have been able to work with as a buyer. It wasn't always easy, as many of you know who are vendors out there. The buyer comes up and we always wanted money. And we always wanted the best price. But it's been a great career. And then after that, I was fortunate enough to go to Fabric Editions in Greenville, South Carolina, and fortunate enough to run that company for about 14 years. And I had a mentor there the last 9 years, and his name was Robert Fortunoff, and he's the current owner of that company. And he was a true mentor to me throughout those years, and he really taught me how to make really good, sound business decisions in order to run a company and to help people progress and promote themselves, and also to promote that company out in the industry. I've loved working in the industry, all the great people. It's really an industry unlike any other, and I have loved all my time in this industry. I also want to recognize Gail Zeck, whom I have known for many years, who I met when I was a buyer at Michael's, and she's always been a great friend and very supportive of me over the years. So this is truly an honor. Thank you so much for this wonderful award, and to the AFCI again for granting me this. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia, and congratulations. So our final category of recognition tonight recognizes the pioneers who have made extraordinary contributions which have led to the growth and the success of their organizations and the creative arts industry as a whole. That's right, it's time for the AFCI Hall of Fame Awards. Our first inductee to the AFC Hall of Fame is Patricia Koziel. Since we started the Hall of Fame in 2014 to honor the people who created the creative industries, we have only honored members, retailers, vendors, designers, and the like, but we've not included the staff members, the people behind the scenes who make things happen. That's going to be rectified right now. Pat Koziel is a force of nature. She's one of the not so many women in which I stand in awe. And today, I'm going to cry, and today I'm proud to call her my friend. I attended my first HIA show in 1981. Back then I didn't know what a speaker was. I was designing stores for Ben Franklin. You guys remember the Makery? Yeah, it was gorgeous and way ahead of its time. Well, Pat was the CEO of HIA, Hobby Industry of America, and later the CEO of CHA. So just in case you didn't know, what was the first one, Jim, before HIA? Hobby something. Yeah, so it was that, and then it was HIA, and then it was CHA, and then it combined with ACCI to become CHA, and now it's AFCI. You got it? HIAA. So many of the things we enjoy as members of AFCI were born under Pat's direction, and this industry owes her a lot. Today, Pat is the retired president of Peak Management Solutions for Associations, so she left us and she went on to grow other associations. During her time at HIA and CHA, Pat had a team of strong women who put together incredible industry events. And if you remember them, you know what I'm talking about. The shows, the speakers, the events were top drawer. No one dared miss an HIA or a CHA show. I walked through that show floor every single year with my mouth open because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And I'll be honest, Pat scared the hell out of me. Not because of who she was, she's a lovely person. but because of what she did and what she was able to accomplish. She ran these exquisite shows with an iron fist in a velvet glove, and I wanted to be her when I grew up. But then I met Rich, and you know how the story goes. So shortly after HIA and ACCI merged to become CHA, Pat left her position and was replaced by a series of men who had tough shoes, tough heels to fill. Nice guys, but so far none of them could hold a candle to Pat's legacy. Pete, we're looking to you, buddy. Hold a candle to Pat's legacy. That legacy is what we are here tonight to celebrate. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me honor and welcome Pat Koziel to the AFCI Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow. Thank you, George. And I can call her George. Thank you to AFCI, to the board and the awards committee for this outstanding recognition. I have some friends with me, my college friends, who came all this way just to be part of this for me, and I really appreciate you girls being there. As I walked the show today, I got to see some faces who I haven't seen in a long time. Jim Scatina, Frank Strauss, Mike McCooey, Stan, I didn't see you, but you're here. Oh, there he is, my drinking buddy. I know, I did do that. I had a great 15 years as your head of the Hobby Industry Association. I really enjoyed every moment of being here with you at the shows. We had on our Saturday night a wonderful banquet and be out there on the dance floor. Really loved doing that. We had great people who were so creative, and I wasn't, believe me, I was not. I could handle business, but they used to tell me to walk away from the making takes. I was embarrassing them. But I really loved that creativity and that imagination, and we grew that association. Our show, we were able to take and open up new markets because of the wonderful people who were on our boards, the retailers, the manufacturers, the distributors who participated as volunteers. Oh, we had a great time. We had a show in Europe for a number of years. That was an eye-opener, believe me. The French. Whew. But through it all, it was really all of you and your creative energies and the women and the men who started this industry, grew with it, loved it, and in my instance, supported me through all of those years. So I really do appreciate this honor. It's just too much for me. Thank you so much.
Scatina, oh, I could tell stories. We all could. Our next Hall of Fame inductee is Mike Hartnett. Mike Hartnett, AKA Mr. Craft Industry, the chairman of the big board. When Mike Hartnett talked, people listened. I remember sitting at the Atrium restaurant at the Rosemont Hyatt watching Mike's table. It was like watching a Godfather movie. As CEO after CEO and every other mover and shaker in the industry stopped by to pay their respects. Mike began his career in the creative industries as an assistant editor for profitable craft merchandising. He was made editor-in-chief about a year later. Mike continued to edit PCM for about 8 years until Craft Trends, a big competitor, made him an offer he just couldn't refuse. His award-winning columns were honored numerous times by the American Association of Business Press Editors. Mike was the editor of Craft Trends magazine for the next 8 years, but then the real magic happened when Mike started Creative Leisure News. Creative Leisure News, if you never got a chance to read it, was the Bible of this industry. It was a weekly rundown of all that was happening, what was hot, things you absolutely needed to know, industry news, updates on chains and independent retailers, products, people, and more. If you wanted to know anything about what was happening in this industry or with anyone in the industry, Mike had it in Creative Industry News. He ran Creative Industry News until 2013 when he retired, and the industry released a collective no. Mike served on many industry committees, too many industry committees to list, and on the boards of directors for the 3 trade associations that preceded AFCI, so HIA, CHA, and ACCI. Mike has an amazing life story. He just wrote a book. It's called And I Cried Too, Confronting Evil in a Small Town. It was published late in 2019. You can find it on Amazon. Mike wants me to tell you that it's not about the craft industry. But he is president of the local chapter of the Kansas Authors Club, the oldest continuously operating authors club in the country, and is the co-leader of the men's writing groups at the local county jail. I'm exhausted just reading that. Local prison. Mike has always been the conscience of this industry, and you don't become a conscience until you paid your dues and demonstrated your worth. Mike's better half, his fabulous wife Barbara, is ill and unable to travel at this time. But we have a video of Mike and his acceptance speech. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to welcome to the AFC Hall of Fame, Mike Hartnett.
Thank you for this wonderful honor. It is much appreciated. I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but Barb's health is my top priority these days. I joined the craft industry in 1979 when I was hired as an assistant editor for Profitable Craft Merchandising, a trade magazine covering the arts and crafts industry. I had no idea what an assistant magazine editor did. I had never heard of a trade magazine, and I knew nothing about the arts and crafts industry. So obviously, I was well qualified for the job. But I quickly fell in love with the industry because of its people. So many people, more than I could count, took time out of their busy schedules to teach this fledgling journalist about the industry. To them, I will be eternally grateful. I also loved the industry because it was filled with entrepreneurs. Manufacturers, wholesalers, sales reps, distributors, designers, almost everybody was an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurs have a fire in their belly that most people don't have. They weren't bean counters or investors. Most didn't even have a college degree in anything, let alone how to start a multi-billion-dollar industry. If you look at the history of the industry, a history of the industry sales, you'll see sharp increase, then a flatten out, sharp increase, flatten out. The sharp increases were hot trends. Decoupage, macrame, counted cross stitch, wearable art, and finally scrapbooking, which was the largest, strongest trend of them all. Well, I walk around craft stores today, and I don't see any hot trend that fills shelves with exciting new products. Last summer, one chain was selling beach balls. Another chain was selling wristwatches. I don't blame them. You got to sell something. When macrame faded, Michaels was selling wicker furniture, and Lee Ward's, the largest chain at the time, was selling cooking spices. You gotta put something on the shelves. So we wait for the next trend. I have no idea what it will be, but I know where it is, in the garage of an entrepreneur. The challenge for the industry today is to foster and encourage entrepreneurs. Take Tulip, for example. Dave Lester hung on by his fingernail for years because the consumer said, squirt paint on a t-shirt? Who wants to do that? But enough independent retailers kept Dave going and going until finally one day the consumer said, squirt paint on a t-shirt, how cool is that? That launched the wearable art trend, and Dave ended up selling his company for millions of dollars. Thank you.
Accepting the award for Mike is his good friend and another one of our industry legends, Gail Zek.
I know Mike would love to be here. He would really love to be here. And he has so many stories, and we have so many stories about Mike. Just a quick thing, he is teaching poetry to prisoners, and he is loving it. He said there's so much talent out there, it's unbelievable. And in fact, he and his wife Barbara have a friend that do theater in Peoria, Illinois. So they put together a show called Pros and Cons. Isn't that great? But one story I have to share with you. We were all on a board meeting, and we went out to a wildlife place. And they had wonderful giraffes, and we got up close to them, and we were all touring. It was great. But they had 2 rhinoceroses, and they were in cages, and we were all told, if they start turning around, you walk away, because they're going to let loose and spray you. Well, Mike, who always walked around like this, he didn't see him turn around. And guess what? He rode in the back of the bus all the way home. God bless Mike.
You should be grateful that you let him ride in the bus. Our next inductee into the AFCI Hall of Fame is Carol Duvall. Another industry legend. Carol Duvall has a Wikipedia page. Not many people can say that. She also has one of those celebrity height, weight, age, astrological sign pages. Not many of us have those either. When those sites target you, you know you're a big deal. Carol is a legend. She's the queen of crafts. She began her career making unique paper creations when she was a child, selling her designs in the neighborhood where she lived. As an adult, she became a TV legend. Carol has delivered her crafting know-how to the small screen for decades. She began her broadcast career with a daily children's television show in Grand Rapids, Michigan in 1951. She spent 18 years in Detroit as host of an hour-long morning show and was co-producer of that show. She also hosted a 5-minute craft-oriented program that aired daily for 14 years. By the late 1980s, she regularly appeared on ABC's Home Show, and in 1994 became host of HGTV's The Carol Duvall Show. And she was a regular on the show floor at HIA and CHA. When the show was canceled, her fans went crazy. They went so crazy that the Do-It-Yourself Network picked it up and aired it until 2009. It's the power of fans. Carol is funny, and her shows are fun to watch. They're also loaded with plenty of practical knowledge. I remember the days when star-struck show attendees, and I'm guilty of that, would stand for hours at the booths where Carol demonstrated her clever crafts, everything from rubber stamping to jewelry making to scrapbooking and more. Carol published Want to Make Something Out of It, her first craft book in 1972. This was before there was such a thing as craft stores and products. Carol used her creativity to fashion original objects out of what she had on hand in her house. She said, that's where my mind still goes when I have a project to create. I just think of what I have in the house, and that's where I start. So it's not every day we get to induct a living legend into the Hall of Fame. Carol isn't here tonight, so I'm going to accept the award on her behalf. But ladies and gentlemen, please give a great big ACI round of applause for a living legend, Carol Duvall. You know, if you haven't gone to AFCI's YouTube channel and watched the videos for the Hall of Fame, I recommend that you do that. We start in 2014 with the people who started this industry, and you can see who they are and the people who contributed and what they did, and we have several videos that are on there. And it's amazing how this industry started and how we were carried forward. So to present our final Hall of Fame inductee, I'd like to welcome to the stage AFCI board member, director from Beacon Adhesives, Lisa Kaiser.
I feel like I have so much to announce now. Thank you. I'm truly honored to present this award to Milton Mashira, aka Mickey. Mickey was the CEO of Beacon Adhesives from 1970 to 2018, where he worked full-time until he retired at the age of 91. He's now 93, so this might be a little long because he has accomplished many things in that time period. Milton Mashira graduated from Columbia University with a BS in chemistry in 1954 and went on to pursue a career in chemical innovation. In 1954, when Mickey first came to work for Beacon, the company did not have a research lab or a manufacturing capacity. In his time at Beacon, he set up a state-of-the-art lab and a manufacturing facility. In 1956, Mickey created Beacon's Formula 599, an adhesive to bond pom-poms to DuPont Orlon sweaters. I'm sure some people know what those are. In 1958, Mickey invented a super fast drying white glue that ended the use of pins when attaching large fabric flowers to hats. The formula ultimately found its way to the bookbinding industry and is formula number 712. It was used worldwide to bind covers onto millions of books. In 1959, Mickey created many formulas that are well known by the craft industry today, including Magnatac 809, Fabri-Tac, Gem-Tac, Quick Grip, Zip Dry, Foam Tac, Power Tac, and many more. Before the existence of glue guns, Mickey created crystal clear hot melt glue to bond polyethylene plastic tubes to themselves. He's also a pioneer in UV curable adhesives. In 1984, Mickey was awarded a patent for a UV curable protective coating for styrofoam. This was followed in 1985 by the first successful UV curable pressure sensitive adhesive designed to run on a flexo press. In 2003, Mickey was granted a patent for an ammunition sealant, which was used by the US Army. Mickey also was the only chemist ever to succeed in formulating a UV adhesive capable of printing gold foil on a standard high-speed flexo press, which is a very impressive thing, and avoid having to use a hot stamper press. In addition to his successful professional career, Mickey also served on the front line during the Korean War. He's also an accomplished speed skater. Mickey Mashira is married to his wife, Barbara, and has 3 children. His children now run the business. He also has 8 grandchildren, and as of 6 weeks ago, a great-granddaughter, my baby Quinn. And I'm active in the business now. So we're a family business, we make glue, and with that, I'd like to present this award to my grandfather, Mickey.
Thank you very, very much. It's just absolutely stunning and shocking to have all of this going on while I was sitting in a research lab doing very quietly whatever I did. But I assure you that now that we're blessed with Lisa and David, my son, there will be more activity from Beacon Adhesives in terms of associating and assisting with the creative work done here at your organization. I have a little short speech. In 1954, fresh out of Columbia University. Oh, thank you. You can say it if you want. I came to work for what was known as Beacon, a chemical company. as that was a company my father started in 1926. They bought and sold supplies and chemicals to hat manufacturers. But Beacon had neither manufacturing nor research capacity with which to create new products. As hat wearing began to lose popularity, the company was struggling and almost went bankrupt. I had a plan. I hoped to create new products and build a new company out of the ashes of the old one. With a card table and a malted mixer, I started a research lab. I experimented in several different directions, one of which called for formulating a new kind of adhesive. My plan was to manufacture our own brand of adhesives that would be better than any other adhesive companies and have a marketplace beyond that of hat manufacturers. Now, 66 years later, Beacon has evolved into a first-class adhesive company, and Beacon is known worldwide for its creative formulas and adhesives of the highest possible quality. It is no longer Beacon Chemical Company, it is now Beacon Adhesives Corporation. On a shelf in our lab of over 40 volumes of handwritten lab notes, written by me or an associate. Of course, my lab notes and work alone did not grow the company. It took years of teamwork by more people than I can name at this time. And they deserve a great deal of credit for the success Beacon has enjoyed. Beacon is an organization serviced by devoted people in all of the major departments. Nevertheless, it is wonderful to be recognized for my creativity, and I thank you all for being here and partaking in this honor.
We are in the presence of a legend. That's for sure. And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the disco portion of the AFCI Awards. Little mood lighting. Who's next? Well, that concludes the award portion of the 2020 awards program, and I want to thank you for joining us in celebrating these bright and shining stars, but we're not done yet, because we have some gift baskets to give away. Feeling like a winner? So I want to thank the people, the vendors that contributed to the baskets. Super Tight Adhesives, Amadex Products, Studio Designs, Design Master Color Tool Inc., the Sherwin-Williams Company, Lawn Fawn, P13, Stola, Dress My Craft, Pratt Enterprises, and Avery L. Y'all, I got 5 to give away, right? And the first gift basket goes to me. Oh my God, it's the star of Flashdance, Jennifer Beal. Are you here? Jennifer? You have a present to win, right? Sorry, Jennifer. Pauline Randall. Pauline, come on down! Gift basket number 2. Oh, come on. Stacy Wiener. Stacy, you need to buy a lottery ticket. So you go over there and pick one out. Gift basket number 3. I'm going to kill your name. Christine Sedita. Are you here? Christine, you here? Woohoo! Come down to the wire, kids. We got 2 more to go. Lolly Getter. Lolly is here. Come on down. You're so welcome. 1 more. You feeling lucky? I'm going to kill your name too. Michael Kitagawa. You hear, Michael? Thank our fabulous gift basket contributors, the awards committee, the staff of AFCI that helped put this together. This concludes our 2020 awards program. We'll see you in 2021. For AFCI, I'm Georgianne Bender. Have a great night.